Um, Obviously, anytime you can win in this league, um, it's a blessing because this league is very hard. Um, but it's a little bit frustrating. You get to game 25, and very proud of my kids, and they did a really good job. Didn't play well. Liz in Georgia played well, shot the ball well. Um, it's getting to that point of the year, where we need Kayla and we need Matilda to step up and knock down shots because we felt like they got the opportunities that they wanted, and we see them knock those down in their sleep. And then we're all adults here, and we understand what our goals are, and to get to our goals, everyone's going to have to step up and do stuff, and not just Georgia, not just Liz. I thought Liz was very efficient tonight. Georgia, really put us on her back and took over when she had to. But we need everybody to step up, and so it's just a little bit frustrating when they have to go through things that they have to go through, and we have to do better. We want to grow our game. The game has to get better, it has to get cleaner, and just you get frustrated when she can come out with a knot on her head like she gets, and nobody does anything. The game is supposed to protect certain areas, and we have to enforce that because if not, all our tall girls are going to go play volleyball. And she gets beat up all the time, and it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating because then they'll say, "Oh, well, we'll look at it," and then I don't think you did that to yourself, did you?
Mm-mm.
All right, so it's just frustrating. It really is. It's frustrating. So we all have to do better, whether the rules committees or whatever, to make this game clean because it could be a very beautiful game when it's played the right way. But when there's just so much physicality, man, it's not safe. I've never seen a kid twist her ankle and can't move, and she gets a blocking call. And that was a first for me, but it's just frustrating, but we have to be better. I have to be better, and if we're gonna go where we want to go, we all have to collectively. We have to step up and be able to perform even during situations like that.
All right, guys, raise your hands for questions. Start on the front with Mark.
So is that one huge knot or two separate knots there?
It's one huge. Thanks for
Uh,
asking.
what was it like to play in a physical game like
She
that?
does it every day. Every day. That's why I am frustrated. It's not new. It's not new. She gets beat up every game. All right, every game, and that's why it really makes me mad when somebody wants to question her toughness or they say she can do this. Man, you try to do what she does when you got 3 and 4 people. They're not guarding her. Okay, they're not guarding her. They're beating her up. Okay, every game, and it's like you can do whatever you want to do, but it just doesn't change. And I'm just glad she wanted to come back to play for a 5th year or for a 4th year or whatever, because she goes out, she gets beat up, and she scores 24 points and grabs 15 rebounds. All right, it's phenomenal. So what she did today is nothing different than what she had to endure every day. All right, now there's some teams who will play basketball. There's some teams who will play basketball, but she gets beat up, and for me, I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of it watching her have to go through, what she has to go through on a daily basis, and then if anybody wants to criticize her, I'll fight you. But it's just she has to endure this every game. It's not new. It's not today. It's every game.
So Liz, what was the mindset what enabled you to be so productive despite how they were playing you?
She's great. She's great. There's no different mindset. There's no different mindset. There's not. She's a phenomenal player. She's a generational player. She's a generational player for our league, all right? And you would think she would be protected, but she's great. Next question.
Well, I'll keep asking you until I get here.
Well, you only get 3, so ask one more and I'll answer that one too.
What helped you guys on the boards today, Liz?
She was tenacious. She was very tenacious. Olivia did a tremendous job. Clara Stratt came in and was phenomenal for us, and she's had an element for us that we desperately need. She makes us very unique. And what we were scared of in the beginning of playing her, just because she had to get used to it, we flipped the script, and instead of her having to run around and chase people, they have to worry about guarding her when she's down low. And she's a phenomenal high-low passer, And she's going to continue to get better, and as she does, we will. Nothing against you, Mark. I'm just kind of.
David.
I'm not mad because the Cowboys aren't playing today.
Liz, on that rebounding note, when Boston College coach was in here and she mentioned that when you and Claire are on the floor together and they're really, really small, it's just they're at such a disadvantage because of the height. What is, when you're playing a team where you have such a big height advantage and you and Claire are on the floor together, what is that like, and how important are those second chance points, offensive rebounds?
Yeah, at this point, that's just kind of what I think we expect when Claire's out on the floor. Like, that's what she's out there to do. That's what she does really, really well. And I don't know, like Coach Brooks said, as long as, she's giving us those extra opportunities, eventually we'll be able to hit shots regardless of, how we're shooting. But I think she's just really realized her role and her value to our team, and she's been doing that really, really well the last few weeks.
Georgia, when a game is like this, what kind of helps? I know you guys have obviously been in big games. What kind of helps you and gather the young kids and everybody just kind of keep your composure and be able to kind of get through it and just know that, eventually you guys will get to the other side?
Yeah, I think we did a really good job today of just like talking ourselves through it. Like, we knew they were going to come in and mess stuff up, and that's their game plan. And I think we were just constant with communication within the girls. And I mean, I'm a big body language reader, so like I know if I start freaking out or acting tense, and everyone's going to follow suit. So I think we just, controlled it. We tried to control as much as we could. I think in the first half I was not that great at that. I had maybe 4 turnovers in the first half, but after that I think we did a better job at just taking what they were giving us, because with a defense like that, there's going to be big breakdowns.
In the back, Eric.
Coach, along that turnover margin there, 17 of them today, just was it something early in terms of, having to lock in mentally, or was it just more of what you girls weren't able to do?
Yeah, I mean, they play junk defenses all the time. That's their philosophy, and we knew that coming in. And I think the whole attitude of our offense changed when we weren't hitting shots. If we're hitting shots, you don't. We wanted to limit our turnovers. I thought we did a decent job. We wanted to limit the live ball turnovers. When they practice every day of messing things up and junk defenses, so they're going to be successful in some of it, and it kind of throws you out of rhythm. And we expected that, but we got the looks that we wanted, and we got to step up and knock those down. If we step up and knock those down, the 17 turnovers aren't even a factor, because we were prepared for that. But it's the kind of turnovers, and we were fortunate enough that we didn't have the live ball turnovers where they could get out and get layups. They had a couple layups like that, but they thrive on that. They lead the league in steals, and about their last and field goal percentage defense. So that tells you that they're going to gamble. And I thought we did a much better job. So it wasn't the number; it was actually that we limited the live ball turnovers that helped us.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm sorry you guys have to go through the rough play. You guys don't deserve it. Y'all play beautiful basketball, so I just want to say that first of all.
Thank you.
Secondly, if you guys could just each of you talk about just the atmosphere, because it seems like Coach, when you got here, you'd be like you had 1,000 fans there, but now, I mean, it's 8,000 fans. It's selling out. Each of y'all could just talk about just the growth of the fans being there, and then I have another question after that.
I mean, for it to be Super Bowl Sunday, and like, this is not a dig at BC, but usually we have sellout crowds when we play like the NC States, like the rivalries and stuff like that. But to have like a game like this, like on a Sunday where there's a massive event happening, it was just like, wasn't expecting it. But it's great that they come and they bring energy, and BC went on that run. I think they cut the lead down maybe to like 9 or something like that, and it just got really, really loud, and that took us over the edge. And it truly makes a difference in the game. The energy and all of that, we're really appreciative for it. And it's massive for like the women's sport and growth. Like, I can't speak highly enough of it. The fact that like people text me asking if I have any tickets left, I'm like, no, I only get 4. Like, you should have jumped in the poll like earlier or something like that. Like, it's insane. Like, I can't even find the words to describe it like that.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably what I'm most proud of in my time here, is just building the respect for this program, and I don't know, getting the Blacksburg community to really come around us and respect us and have fun watching us. Because I think we were always, that was always part of the goal. And just, as Coach Brooks has elevated this program, we've been able to, bring more attention to it, and, they help us. They come up clutch in big moments. I know exactly the moment George is talking about, and they helped us, lock back in, give us energy, and they do that all the time. We got 2 more games at home, so.
Bring it.
We don't want to talk about it.
I know, I'm like, oh, never. But it's really special, and hopefully, they'll keep coming.
Echoing what she said, that's one of the things I'm most proud of. When I was at James Madison, I remember the first crowd I ever coached in front of, I think we had 500. And then the last one I coached in front of, we almost had a sellout with like 5,000 or 6,000 people. And then coming here, same thing. We had to build it. And you build it, what is it? You build it and they will come. All right? You have to get great people that represent the program. And then these kids, they go out, they're in the community, they're very approachable, they do things the right way, they play the game the right way. It's a very enjoyable game. And the way Hokie Nation has really gotten behind us, for me as a coach, for me as a father of 3 daughters, I'm always champion for the cause. I always say it, the women's game is just as entertaining as the men's game. You just have to watch it the right way. And I've had overtures, when I was at James Madison to go back to the men's side, and this is where I wanted to be because you can make a difference. And it's a beautiful game, and what they've done and the awareness that they've brought to not only women's basketball here at Virginia Tech, but just women's sports in general. And the way that they conduct themselves. We had the Final Four run last year, and the way that they conducted themselves throughout, I got more compliments from friends, from foes, from strangers about how the way they conducted themselves. And they were proud to be Hokies because of the way that they showed grace on the floor, sportsmanship, and then it helps you grow a program. And so the legacy that these 2 will leave is beyond their numbers. They brought a popularity to our sport, and now, it will go on. Clara Strax will take it on, and they'll do the same thing. And that's how you build a program. And it started with these, she took a leap of faith. She could have gone to a lot of schools right in her backyard. She came here and helped elevate this program. She didn't have a choice. She had to come. But she's taken it to a point where nobody thought that it could be. Now she's one of the best players. Both of them are 2 of the best players in the country, and they reside in Blacksburg. And so we can bring that type of people here because we're getting big crowds, and recruiting is getting better, and I wouldn't say easier, but you're going up against different people than I was when we first got here.
And Coach, real quick, if you could just talk about just Liz's growth, because I remember you mentioned what she was when she got here to where she is now, and then also Georgia, if you could talk about just playing with Liz over the last few years and how the connection you guys both have, because it's really special, with your podcast and when you guys play on the court. I mean, the ACC network said your pick and roll game is the best in the country.
She's, obviously, I love her like my daughter, both of them. Our relationship is very special, and that's how, her growth has occurred. She's comfortable with being uncomfortable. She's the hardest working kid that we have. And when your best players are your hardest working kids, everyone else has to follow suit, and then your program grows. And so I credit her for really the trajectory of our program, where it's gone, where it's going. And she's fearless. We have 0 McDonald's All-Americans on our team, but when we walk out and we play against anybody, her ability to compete, to be a competitor and to be so confident gives us a chance to win anything, anything. And obviously Georgia's the same way, but she allows us to go out and be the best, one of the best teams in the nation. But beyond all of that, she's an even better person. She's a better person. You want someone like her to lead your program, to be the face of your program, and it helps. She's helping us recruit. People will say, well, what you did with Kitley. Well, I did a lot with Kitley, but Kitley did it a lot herself because she's always ready to work. So, generational player. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Her number should be retired. We should have a statue. What else you want?
I need to have a dorm named after her.
A dorm. A dorm named after her. And then once we get that that blueprint down, then somebody else should be the same thing. These 2 kids, I've been a Tech fan, obviously with Del Curry and what he did for this program or this school, Michael Vick, and what they did for this school. These kids are doing the same thing in a different sport, but they're like There's like what, Cher and Madonna, you got Liz, and you got Georgia, and that's national. So for them to be able to come in and work to get to that point, I'm very, very proud to be their coach.
You told her it's 5 years for statue, though, right?
Yeah, it's got to be 5 years for a
I've
statue.
been here 4.5.
And Georgia, if you could just talk about Liz, because like
Yeah.
I said, you guys are so close.
Yeah, no, I mean, the best part about our relationship is that we eat, sleep, and breathe basketball. Like, we do basketball, and then we go home, and then we just continue that conversation. Like, and it's different perspectives. Like, she's a completely different position than I am, so we obviously see things differently, and for sure not scared to voice what we see, even though we might be right or wrong. But I think, where we've grown and matured over these 4 years is, like, we don't get our feelings hurt. Like, we say what's on our chest, we get it off, we work through it. And I think that's why we're so productive and dangerous in that pick and roll scenario, because I can throw her a pass and she can look at me and be like, nah, don't like that one, or something like that. I'm like, okay, let's work on it. Let's do this. Like, I think today I threw a pass to you a bit too high, and she ran down the court, and I was like, that's my bad. Like, we just understand like where each other wants the ball and where we're effective, and that stems from like not just practice. Like, we spend maybe 10 minutes working on the pick and roll, but I think that our chemistry has developed beyond just being at practice.
Left side of the room, Carter.
For any of y'all, how do you think you guys responded today, whether out of halftime or the late game run or even to the physicality as well?
Very businesslike, and obviously we knew we had to get certain stops. We knew we had to execute on the offense, get the ball where we wanted to get it, come up with a big play. But after the game, I asked them. He said, "What do you want? What do you want?" And that was going to determine how I was going to coach them. And respect our opponent, BC, but we have to be better, and we know we can be better, and we have to be ready for anything, because people aren't just going to let us play basketball. They're going to try to mess it up a little bit, and we've got to be able to counter. And we've been doing a great job of that. I don't want this to be like Debbie Downer. This is our 7th straight win in the ACC. That's crazy. It really is, and it's not easy. It's very hard, and so we want to enjoy it and understand who we are. Sometimes you have to win ugly, but we know where we want to go. We have to continue to get better. But resiliency. Actually, I wanted to play a little bit more people today, but we just didn't knock down some of the shots. I really think that if we had knocked down some of those shots, it would have changed the whole complexion of the game.
In the back, Anthony.
For Liz or Georgia, when Coach talks about you guys getting beat up every game, can it be difficult to control your emotions in those scenarios and not want to retaliate or, for lack of a better word, maybe stoop down to that level? And how do you continue to focus on what you guys are trying to do?
I mean, I think we're really good at it. I think the most comments I get are that people want me to punch someone in the game or yell at someone, and that's just not like what we do. I guess I think we're very good at staying composed, because at the end of the day, we just want to play basketball. Like, that's what we're here to do. And we also just know what's coming. Like, we're a very skilled team, I think, and so when other teams look at us, they probably think, that's what they have to do. They resort to those measures to try and compete with us. But as long as we stay in the right mindset and play our game, then, we'll be fine.
I also think there's it's kind of sad too, there's a degree to it where we're not really expecting to get calls, so it's like we might as well move on with it, because I think even when they reviewed when I got hit in the head, like, I remember saying to the girls, I was like, this is taking way too long, like, I don't even think it was intentional, like, I just want to play. And then they actually gave us the free throws and the ball back, and I was like, what? But, like, I think, like, we just don't expect nothing, take everything, really, because it can be inconsistent, so if we, like, I don't know, play too much into it, then it's going to mess with our mental and what we expect, and that would only just snowball more emotions.
Back up front, Will.
Coach, it seems like Olivia is playing better and better in her role by the game. How valuable is she becoming to this team right now?
Well, she's very valuable to us, as is Clara Strack. Both of them are playing that. They're kind of splitting minutes at that 4 spot, and that was something that we were kind of like all over the page, the first few games trying to figure it out. And those two have really stepped up and just understanding their value and what they need to do. And they've done a tremendous job, and both of them, getting a second chance opportunities, defending the way they need to defend, and taking some of the pressure off of Liz, rebounding the basketball. Is very valuable. And we knew it was going to come. And it's just not fair for transfers. This is the day and age of a transfer, but you don't just plug and play. Olivia Samio has had 3 different coaches in 5 years. You know, she has a lot of different terminology that she's learned, and she's trying to figure it out. Clara's a baby. But she's very smart, and so both of them have added value to us, and consistency. You know, where we can actually go with certain lineups, and because you look at us the first 10 games, it was like sometimes it was Clara, sometimes it was Rose, sometimes it was Olivia, and now we have kind of like a rotation that we can count on, and I'm glad and I'm happy for both of those kids.
All right, we'll do two more on the left. Thomas first.
Can you speak to like the confidence you've instilled in your shooters, you know, after a night like this, you know, to come back against Duke and just keep shooting?
I see them shoot every day. As a matter of fact, I think I've had a hand in her shot, hand in Kayla's shot, hand in Matilda's shot, you know, and when they shoot it, when it leaves her hand, I can tell you if it's going in or not. I really can. And they can look at the film, and, you know, Kayla let it go, and I'm like, there it is, thank you, and the ball's still halfway through the air. But I know what they can do. And every time, I wish Kayla had taken 20 three-pointers, you know, just because that's how confident we all are in her. Matilda, you know, so we understand what our kids are capable of doing. So when they shoot on a day like today, all right, I want them to continue to shoot, all right, because that's what's going to make them better, and they need to be confident. But we do so much individual work and film work that they know what's a good shot for them, and when they get an opportunity, step up and knock it down every time.
Close out, Tim. This is for any of you guys. You guys now have an outright one-game lead in the ACC now, following Louisville's loss as well today. How do you guys keep this momentum going, especially with the road trips to Louisville, Notre Dame, obviously another game with North Carolina and Duke as well coming up?
We take it one day at a time, and I said this on the broadcast of the day. Take it one day at a time, and today we are very happy, and so we aren't even worried about what's going to happen, you know, next. We will start preparing. Now we have Duke coming up, but the beauty is, and what we tell our kids, you control your own destiny. We don't have to watch. We don't have to scoreboard watch. You know, it's kind of cool. You can look at it, but like we take care of business. We are where we want to be, and we can continue to drive. Because if you look ahead, all right, you can get depressed, you know, because it's hard. It's very hard. You know, the schools you just named, it's very hard. But if we look at it one game at a time, then it's totally different. You know, we put on the board at the very last thing I say is go get win number one. All right, because it's the only thing that matters. And every one of our scouts for the last, I don't know what, maybe 15 games has said, you know, 1-0, go 1-0. You know, because if you start looking ahead and you start thinking about too many different things, you can get distracted and you can start worrying about the wrong stuff. So they do a phenomenal job of just locking in and focusing on what the task is at hand. And that's the only way you can be successful in this league.
All right,
Can we get one more? Let Mark get one more.
George, I think you mentioned after the game in Raleigh that you know, you guys have changed your mindset to one game at a time. So when, you know, what was the old mindset, and when did it change?
I don't think we had, well, probably really, really poorly worded by me, but like we're placing emphasis now that it's 1-0. Like we never,
Good way to put it.
we never like looked ahead or anything like that. But I think, you know, especially like in the ACC, I think we were kind of looking at, you know, the upsets and stuff happening, and it was like, I for sure was definitely keeping up to date with like all the ESPN stats and like, you know, when teams are beaten, whatever. But I think now we've like genuinely locked in on just us. So I don't know how else to word that.
I think it was the turn of the year, honestly, right when we started playing ACC.
Yeah.
And it was like we started talking about it's us versus us. You know, if we go out and we handle our business, you know, then we add it, you know, focus on, you know, everything. And it's just start thinking about us and don't worry about anybody else, what's happening, you know, in another gym. We can't control that, and we can control what happens where we are. And it's a great way to live. It's a lot less stress, you know, when you can do that. But it's really worked for them. And, you know, these two, and add Kayla in there, they lead in a phenomenal way that they really keep everybody grounded and locked in on what's happening. So, all right, guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Was that a career?